The movie begins with a scene where a drunken man lies on the street. He is approached by a child who asks if he can watch the news. The man, Hancock, looks at the TV and sees news about criminals fleeing in a car. He advises the boy to leave the area and, in response, the boy insults him before leaving. We learn that Hancock is an alcoholic and reckless superhuman endowed with flight, invulnerability, and super strength. He acts as a haphazard superhero in Los Angeles, often being ridiculed and disliked due to his drunken and careless behavior. He becomes angered when called derogatory names by the public. Despite this, he occasionally helps people and saves lives, though his actions often result in significant destruction. The story shifts to a traffic jam near a railway, where a man named Ray is trapped in his car on the tracks. Hancock arrives just in time to move the car and stop an approaching train, causing some damage in the process. Despite his efforts, the people still criticize and insult him. Ray and his son, Aaron, who is a fan of Hancock, invite him into their home. They share a meal and conversation, during which Hancock's unconventional way of speaking upsets Mary, Ray's wife. Aaron shares his experiences of being bullied, and Hancock suggests a forceful response, shocking Mary. Ray suggests that Hancock should earn the city's respect by facing his court hearings, even though he's been absent from them. Reluctantly, Hancock agrees and voluntarily goes to court. Inside the prison, Hancock faces attacks from enemies he had apprehended. He refrains from breaking out illegally and hopes that the city will eventually realize his importance. Time passes, and Hancock remains imprisoned. Ray visits him, informing him of a reduced sentence if he behaves well. Hancock struggles with his confinement but is calmed by Ray's advice. Mary and Aaron visit him, bringing homemade food. Eventually, Hancock is released from prison and returns to the city wearing a costume, focusing on controlled heroics to avoid destruction. Hancock saves hostages from terrorists without causing harm and gains respect from the people. The city begins to appreciate him, and he dines with Ray and Mary. In a conversation, he reveals he is an amnesiac and immortal, awakening 80 years prior with no memory. He recalls his mysterious healing abilities and 2 items found in his pocket, chewing gum and movie tickets. He also learns about Mary's history. Hancock and Mary share a kiss, but she reveals her own superpowers by throwing him through a wall. Hancock is left shocked by Mary's revelation about her superpowers. She instructs him not to disclose this to anyone, including Ray. The next morning, Ray notices a hole in his house's wall, caused by Hancock sneezing. Hancock arrives and realizes that Mary possesses similar abilities. He playfully tests her powers by attempting to stab and hit her, which breaks various objects. Hancock explains that he wants to understand her better, implying a romantic interest. However, Mary insists she'll talk to him just once before asking him to leave her family. Later, she meets Hancock in a secluded area and reveals their shared nature as godlike beings. She elaborates that they are the last of their kind, though Hancock doubts her story. Mary admits that she was once Hancock's wife, but she avoids details. Hancock decides to reveal everything to Ray and begins to fly away, but Mary follows him. They engage in a destructive fight in the city, with Mary proving more powerful. Eventually, all 3 of them are back at Ray's house. Confused, Ray demands an explanation, and Mary admits her identity as another superhuman, with a history tied to Hancock's. She explains their connection and why they must stay apart to retain their powers. Hancock, overwhelmed, goes to a wine shop to drown his feelings. He intervenes in a mugging but gets shot for the first time, leading to a hospital visit. Mary visits him and explains that getting close to her weakens him. She recounts an incident 80 years ago, where they were attacked, and she decided to distance herself from him for his recovery. Parker, an enemy from Hancock's past, attacks the hospital seeking revenge. Hancock defeats the criminals but is critically wounded, while Mary is on the brink of death. Hancock distances himself from her, allowing her to recover. A month later, Hancock contacts Ray's family from New York City, where he has imprinted Ray's logo on the moon's surface. In a mid-credits scene, Hancock confronts a criminal while demanding help and playfully using derogatory language, ending the movie.